Well, for more on efforts to combat ISIS forces in both Iraq and in Syria, I'm joined now by Frederick Hoff, who formerly served as a special advisor on Syria for President Obama. He's now at the Atlantic Council's Rafiq Hariri Center for the Middle East. I want to start by asking you about the news that came in this afternoon. President Obama asking Congress to approve $500 million in order to send help and equipment to moderate Syrian rebels who've been vetted by America. How significant would that money be?
I think it's potentially quite significant. Of course, Congress still has to appropriate the money, and then the administration would need to implement whatever plans it has in consultation with the Congress and with regional partners to actually make this happen. But it's a potential watershed. For the first time, the administration is being very, very explicit about the need to help these rebels protect Syrian civilians and secure the areas where they're present.
Fred, you were the envoy for Syria at the beginning of this conflict.
Yeah.
Don't you wish that as this had happened then?
Sure.
Wouldn't we be in a noticeably different position today?
You know, sure. I think the first time the president was really presented with an option that would incorporate something like this would have been back in the July-August 2012 timeframe. And yes, I think it would have been better had it been done then, but perhaps better late than never.
Okay, Iraq is what is sparking probably the interest in the president to act now on Syria, paradoxically.
I would say so, yes.
What more can the United States, while Congress discusses this money, what more can the United States do that could be effective to bring about a regional political solution?
I think that's a tall order at this point, a regional solution. The United States is very much concentrated on Iraq at the moment. Advisors, special forces are arriving. Presumably they're in the business of coordinating intelligence information with their Iraqi hosts and developing potential targets on the ground. Beyond that, there's obviously a very important political dimension in Iraq, and that revolves around the Prime Minister.
Right, but the Prime Minister Maliki said,
yes.
I'm not going to go, I'm not going to form an emergency government, so somebody's going to have to put pressure on him.
Yes, and I suspect the United States is applying a degree of pressure, although Secretary of State Kerry has been very careful to say that the Iraqi elections, the Iraqi political process really ought to produce the requisite result. Clearly, Nouri al-Maliki, because of his performance over the past few years, is not part of the solution.
Is there any way Tehran could be persuaded to put pressure on Maliki as well?
Well, the Iranians have their own interests here, and they have a decision to make, really, whether to double down on Maliki and increase the depths of Iraq's sectarian crisis, or to suggest to him that it's time for him to step aside. But this is their decision. They have interests as well.
Okay, Fred Hoff, thanks very much for coming in.
My pleasure.